Hey everybody, it's me, Kiri G, with a self-care Saturday for today. I actually don't have much to talk about today. I actually didn't even know what I wanted to talk about today. It's the last Saturday of July, which is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So I haven't really been doing much of anything this month because I've been making changes in my own life to make sure my mental health is right. I don't know if you guys know, but I work in HR, so I have a stressful job. So I have been trying to transition between going from a full-time HR professional to a graduate student who wants to focus on becoming a counselor for my people. So I have been making a lot of changes. I'll be sharing them at some point, or if you know me, you kind of know what's going on. But hopefully in a couple of weeks when I start graduate school, I'll be able to work less hours in my HR role and put more time and effort, energy into my graduate school, to my website, and to my t-shirts. And you guys will be hopefully seeing me more on social media. So I really don't have anything for this self-care Saturday. I feel like this is the second week in a row. But one of the things that I did want to talk about is, as I'm on this journey, I have realized how important sacrifice is. Earlier this week, I talked about it on one of my IG stories, how really sacrifices are stepping stones, or if you are sacrificing things on a way to get to a goal, it really should be a stepping stone for you to make, to build up to where you're trying to be. So I always tell people, like, a sacrifice is a part of what you're doing. Like, if what you're doing and what you're working hard for, you ain't sacrificing nothing to get to it, then it's probably not worth even having. I see people talking about giving up all the time, or like they're just so tired of like having a struggle and stuff like that. And it's like, well, what is your real goal? And if you're putting the work into it, what are you sacrificing for the goal? And it's like a real sacrifice to the goal, not you are maybe don't have the means or you don't get paid as much at your job. That's, to me, is not a sacrifice. That is a circumstance. So what are you sacrificing to get where you want to go? Me, I'm an HR professional and I make good money. Because I want to go to graduate school, I have to make a sacrifice, and more times likely than not, it's going to be my money or my time that I'm sacrificing, because for me to take time away from a professional job that I have worked to get towards, I'm going to take hours away from myself to go to graduate school, which means that I'm going to have less money, which means I'm going to have to figure out a way to make shit work with the reduced income. That is a sacrifice. If you're working a job and you work in retail or work in a restaurant or whatever it is, and you feel like you're not making enough money, to me, that's not a sacrifice. That is a circumstance. If you want to change your circumstance, you have to put action into it. When you're working towards a goal, you make sacrifices to get to it. So if your goal is to get another job because your current circumstance is not something that you like, then you need to make a sacrifice to do it. And that is maybe missing one day at your current job so that you can fill out applications or go on interviews. And that's a sacrifice because you're missing out on money, like I just said. So think about the way you think about things. Like, make sure that the way that you are positioning things in your mind and your perspective actually benefit and fit you. Some things are going to be a circumstance that you have to overcome, because this is life and nobody's life is perfect, and we all have natural circumstances or circumstances that we've gotten ourselves into that we have to work our way out of. That's just life. A sacrifice is when you are willing to stop having something or limit your access, use, interaction with something in order to put yourself in a better position to get to your goal. So that's what I kind of wanted. That's what's been on my mind this week because of what I'm currently going through. So anybody who is working towards a goal, make sure that you align yourself so that you are, being truthful about what your circumstances are and what you're sacrificing. If your sacrifices are not worth, it's difficult to say what I was about to say. I was about to say, because if what you're sacrificing, you feel like is not worth what the long-term goal is, maybe you need to readjust, but that's a little too deep. What I will say though is just make sure that what you're sacrificing is actually a sacrifice toward the goal and not a sacrifice that you're putting yourself through because of some other situation, because a lot of times people will say that they're sacrificing something when really they're just putting themselves in a situation. Like if you in a relationship that you are not getting fulfilled, that's not a sacrifice necessarily. You might just be in a bad situation. So just be clear about what your circumstances are and what you're sacrificing when you're working on something, so that you don't start to feel like you want to give up or you're tired of doing this shit. Because for me, when I sacrifice something and it's a real sacrifice, for me, as I'm doing it, I'm not that upset about it, or I don't feel bad about it, because I know at the end it's gonna pay itself off, or at least that's what my hope and desire is. I will hope that after I put all this time, energy, effort into changing my life from a real corporate professional to trying to transition to a counselor and going to grad school, I would hope that I want to be a counselor at the end. But if I don't, I can't be mad at nobody but myself, because I didn't make sure that what my goal was aligned with who I really was or what I really wanted to do. And if I get to a point where at the end I don't want to do this counseling thing, I'm going to be okay with the decisions that I made, because I know that I was making them based on what I thought at the moment. I was confident in that. I don't think it'll be that way, but in the event that it does, I'll always have another career to fall back on, and I'll always have my personality and the way that I just live my life and the way that I think to fall back on to figure out whatever else I'm going to do. So turn nothing into something today with this self-care Saturday, because I sure didn't have anything at the beginning. But have a good Saturday. It's early. You hear these people starting to mow their grass. Irritating. Have a good Saturday. Happy Saturday. July is Minority Mental Health Month, so if you haven't looked into anything and you are looking for some mental health assistance or some self-care assistance, check out my IGTV. I have uploaded for most Saturdays for the last, I want to say, I'm going on 8 months now. 8 months of Saturdays, or 8 months worth of weekly self-care Saturdays are on my IGTV. So if you need any tips, check out some of those videos. And until then, I will see you guys next week. 1st August self-care Saturday. It'll be a whole theme for the month, and I'm excited about it. So see you guys later. Happy Saturday.